Hey, choir peeps, I promised a follow-up video of just the simple warm-ups that I was leading with a class last or 2 Thursdays ago on February 27th. We were doing some warm-ups from a really cool booklet called Building Beautiful Voices by Paul Neesham and Weston Noble. And it has really simple warm-ups in it. Got it at Midwest Sheet Music years ago. They're going out of business but being rebought. They're in Maryland Heights and a warehouse of phenomenal choral music. I mean, a whole warehouse. We were speaking about warm ups that help us have more stability with our singing and to help us utilize our breath support more and be conscious of that, as well as creating beautiful tone production while doing it. When we were working on these warm ups in class, I was very much encouraging us to get rid of our vibrato. And not because we don't love using vibrato. Vibrato is amazing. It needs to be talked about a little bit more though because it's a decoration. It's kind of like I love baking metaphors. You have to bake a cake, you have to let it cool, you get to add the frosting and the decorations, right? And the baking part is essential. We have to mix the ingredients and make sure we have a quality cake first, okay? Before we decorate it with beautiful gorgeous decorations and delicious frosting. Well, laying a great foundation for our vocals and having security in our breath support and our pitch placement and really landing on those pitches accurately helps to develop our ear so we can hear that before we actually sing it. You're kind of thinking ahead. And if you've ever had a chance to do a little bit of archery, you look at that bullseye, you aim at it, and you really make an attempt to land in that bullseye with that arrow. And with singing, we forget that we have a little bit more control than we think we do. Sometimes we think, well, we'll just go for it and, see what happens when it happens. But like anything in life, if we think a little bit ahead of things, and if you're a musician who's played a musical instrument, as you're sight reading your music on the page, you're not looking at the current notes you're playing. You're always looking 2, 3, 4, 5 measures ahead as you're playing so that you know where you got to go and what you have to do to get there and how your finger changes are going to affect what you're doing in the middle of a phrase. With singing, it's the same way. And if we go slow enough and if we have a lot of awareness about what we're doing and thinking ahead, especially when it comes to working on things like breath support and landing on our correct pitches more and really being conscious to think about our ear training in terms of intervals and these interval tunes that I've helped us learn in class, and also the number system too that we've all been familiar with through Pastor Bob's teaching as well. It's all very helpful, but if we think not in the moment, but kind of think ahead of where we have to go and plan, we're going to really hit things more accurately than if we were just kind of like, well, let's just see what happens in the moment. No, let's think ahead and be conscious of what we're doing, a little bit more intentional in our practice. And that's why warm ups are so valuable. They help us to be prepared when we're in song mode and we're singing songs to have the tools necessary to sing those songs beautifully and accurately with correct pitch placement, tone production, and all of that great stuff. And going back to the vibrato situation, when we decorate with vibrato before we've really laid out a foundation of like what your first pitch is, in the melody, the vibrato itself is a wavering little dance our voice does around the pitch, above and below. It kind of vibrates around that pitch. And so if your vibrato is great big, it's going to be a fluctuating above the pitch more and below the pitch more, making it a little confusing for our ear to hear the true pitch that we're supposed to be singing for that melody note. And depending on the style of the song, if you're supposed to have more vibrato or less vibrato, it will help you kind of taper that down a little bit and add it at just the very ends of our phrase endings. Vibrato is just a beautiful thing that we as singers can utilize, and different instruments create that effect. It's not the same on a piano. We have to deal with trills. And a violin or a stringed instrument can totally work that vibrato by, doing something with a string. I'm not a stringed instrument player. I wish I was. But you get my point? We don't want to add it too soon, especially during these warm-ups. And so we're going to do a really simple exercise that engages our breath support. And I'm speaking to myself about vibrato too. I'm not you know, pointing fingers because I love singing with vibrato and I do it too much always. And I need to taper it down myself. So I'm really speaking to myself when I'm saying all of this. But to all of us to help develop our ear, it's really essential for us to know how to turn that off and turn it back on when needed and to have more control over that. So if we're singing a passage with just, you know, do, re, mi, if we're like do, re, mi, you know, we're hearing that pitch, but we're really being big with our vibrato. Do, re, mi. It's actually harder to sing straight pitched if you're used to only singing vibrato. Try turning that vibrato off and you'll find, oh, wait, I'm really used to hearing all that vibrato in there. So it's a really great exercise and it just gives you more control and intentionality with your singing speech. Over here we go. This is the first exercise. Remember to engage diaphragmatic breathing because the H before the vowel helps us to he, you know, push that out with our breath support, okay? So we're doing he. I'll start lower and guys, I'll work it down for you as well, but we're going to climb it up first, okay? Here we go. He. Let's do that all separated. He, 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 he. Let your tummy have some bounce going on there. You should feel that. Every single he that you're singing is really coming from that diaphragm, okay? Right there. He, 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 he. I'm dropping out. Let's climb it down for the guys. Good. That was a lot more detached and you were feeling a lot more bounce. This time we're going to have a little legato at the end of that phrase. So it's he in one breath, no break in that, very nice and legato. So separated, detached, legato. He, 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 he. Keep going. I jumped. Let's climb it low for the men. Here we go. Well done. We're going to talk about our interval pitch cues, if you will, and I'm going to switch my camera and hope that it's lined up. Kind of. Here we go. All right, here we go. All right, we all had these sheets in class on Thursday that I handed out, and I have more if you don't have them. Basically, I'm showing you, oh, did I staple that in the wrong order? So I did. I'm showing you the step from a 1 to a 2. We call that a second interval on the staff with notation. It looks like that from a line note to a space note. And it sounds like happy birthday. So a 1 to a 2 sounds like happy birthday, happy birthday. So we're triggering our ear to hear that little recall melody, okay? A third is a skipping interval. Interval means the distance between the white key pitches. And on the staff, thirds are from a line to a line. The pitch song recognition is oh when the saints. Don't sing the whole thing, please. Oh when the saints. Okay, that's your trick. Fourth interval, you can see how it looks on a keyboard. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 pitch distances apart. On the staff, it's from a line to a space. We'll talk about a little trick I have for that too. The trigger song for that to recall your memory is Here Comes the Bride. Okay, there's a fourth. 1, 4, 1, and a 5. 1, 5, 1, 5. Twinkle, twinkle. And a sixth is My body lies over the ocean. Okay, it's just my ba. My ba. Okay, if you can get that, you've got the sixth interval. These get harder when they get farther apart because your ear needs to hear something to help it remember. And once you get it, you'll never forget it. I've never forgotten these. I learned these in high school, actually. This is Maria from West Side Story. If you have never seen it, I'm sorry. Maria. Okay, but Maria is all you need. And if you go too far, you've crashed into an eighth interval. An eighth is otherwise known as an octave, 8 pitches apart, somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere. Okay, there you are. And there is just an itty bitty trick when you're learning to read notation on the staff. Your even numbered intervals, seconds, fourths, sixth, eighth, if you get that far in your reading, are all going to be opposites. One of them will be a line note moving to a space note. One of them will be a space note moving to a line note, whatever. And you can kind of do the process of elimination. So if the two pitches are relatively close together and it's an opposite situation, your mind can just go already to, oh, it's even, it's super close together, it must be a smaller interval, such as a second. If it's really far apart, and I haven't got an octave on here, but in this situation, you're kind of guessing, well, it can't be a second or a fourth. It's too far apart. They are opposite line to space or space to line. It's got to be a sixth or an eighth. And that way, when you're in, crunch mode and you're singing through something and your brain is firing quickly with all of these little things, these little tips and tools that you've practiced in your practice time, your ear can automatically know if you're sitting on, like, let's say a D. Remember what a sixth was? My ba. Your ear can hear what a sixth above that is and just kind of go for it a little bit more accurately. So that is the blessed joy of ear training, letting our ear recognize these intervals and having some knowledge about not only what they look like on the piano or the keyboard, because I'm sorry, but the keyboard is the best instrument for this. You can see things laid out chronologically and it just makes the most sense on a piano. I'm not being biased because I am a pianist. And then how it looks on the staff because, it's helpful to learn how to read this notation as we are, reading and singing choral music. And it's super easy to grab onto if you're practicing a little bit at home. So a really cool exercise you can do, and I'm gonna jump back to face view here. Keep strengthening your ear with your pitch recognition. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, or happy birthday, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, oh when the saints. Okay, here comes the bride. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 1, 8, 1, 8, 1. Okay, I'm being very gentle with my voice today. It's really cool to do that in the car. I like to sing in the car. You have no piano to cheat with, you know? And you can really get your ear to just pick any pitch you want to. I'm going to pick, there's my starting pitch. 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 5, 1, 1, 6, 1, 1, 7, 1, 1, 8, 1. Okay, your ear can do it. You can think about these little songs to help you, and just don't forget to breathe. Breathing is everything, right? Okay, do your box breathing exercises. Those are, remember what box breathing was, just to end this thing out so we can keep it super short today. It's where you are sitting supported. Do this in your car, honestly. Sit supported, breathe in for 4, and then hold for 4. Exhale to 4 count, and hold for 4. Yeah, that's where we were at. Okay, and just do that on repeat. Those are great for helping us control the release of our airflow and also how we're taking air in. So when we're singing long phrases, we can be a little bit more conscious of that and aware of that. It also lowers your blood pressure, calms your nervous system, helps us get more oxygen to our brain and our heart. This is all really good, right? Singing is the best thing for our overall health. Bless you. Hope this helped. Bye-bye.